She built armor for a broken cub, and an entire clan VOWED to die for her. They broke, she fixed them, and they worked again. There was no anger, no fear, no doubt, only the hum of power cells and the clank of tools. She had built her small workshop from scraps left behind by the mining company. It was cramped and messy, but everything had its place. Her life was quiet, predictable, and she liked it that way. The frontier world was not kind. Storms of red sand rolled across the plains without warning, and the nights were cold enough to freeze circuits. Few humans stayed here. Most left after a few months, claiming the planet was cursed. Lisa had no family, no friends, and no one who cared if she stayed or left. She liked it that way, until the night she heard the sound. It was soft at first, almost lost beneath the whistle of wind through the broken walls of an abandoned settlement. Lisa paused in her work, turning her head toward the noise. At first, she thought it was just a trick of the wind, or perhaps a small animal caught in the debris. But then came the sound again, sharper this time. A faint cry like a child in pain. Lisa frowned. The settlement had been abandoned for years. Nothing lived there, or at least nothing should. Without hesitation, she grabbed her flashlight and a worn tool belt. She moved carefully through the twisted metal and broken walls. Her boots crunched on shards of metal and glass. The sound grew louder, more desperate. She followed it to a small alley between two collapsed buildings. There, curled in a pile of dust and torn alien fabrics, was the source. A small alien cub, no larger than a human toddler, huddled against the cold. Its skin was cracked in places, and one of its legs bent at an awkward angle. Its eyes, wide and glowing faintly, looked at her with fear and confusion. Lisa felt a tight knot in her chest. She crouched slowly. "Hey," she whispered, not knowing if it would understand. The cub flinched. Lisa extended a hand, letting it see she meant no harm. After a long pause, the cub inched forward, resting its tiny head on her palm. Its breathing was ragged, and its weak body trembled with each small movement. Lisa could see the bones in its leg did not align, and its protective skin plates were cracked and thin. This creature had been abandoned, left to die by its own kind. The clan, she knew from scattered reports, had strict rules. The weak, the broken, the cursed were left behind. No one helped them. They were left to suffer. Lisa could not let that happen. She lifted the cub carefully, holding it against her chest. It trembled violently but did not resist. She wrapped it in her coat and carried it back to her workshop. The wind blew around her, red dust stinging her face, but she did not slow. She could hear the cub's tiny cries over the storm. She whispered softly to it, even though it could not understand. Words were nothing compared to warmth, and she held it close. She set it down gently on a soft pile of blankets she kept for emergencies. The cub stared at her, eyes wide and unblinking. Lisa studied it carefully. It had 4 fingers on each hand and 3 toes on each foot, all tipped with small, sharp claws. Its skin, normally tough and plated, was soft and thin, as if it had never grown properly. The left leg bent at an unnatural angle, making even small movements painful. It was clear the cub could not survive in the wild, not without help. Lisa sighed. She had no choice. She would help it even if it meant facing the clan. She pulled a small medical kit from a shelf. She cleaned the cuts on its skin with careful hands, applying antiseptic and soft bandages. The cub whimpered but did not struggle. It seemed to trust her more than anyone had before. Lisa knew it was fragile, weaker than most of its kind, and it would take more than bandages to keep it alive. She would need to build armor, support for its body, and something to help it grow strong. She had no idea how. The alien technology of this world was complicated, designed for creatures larger and tougher than humans. But Lisa had always been good at solving problems. She could do it. She had to do it. The night passed slowly. Lisa stayed beside the cub, talking to it softly, keeping it warm and checking its breathing every few minutes. The storm outside raged, sand beating against the walls, but inside the workshop was calm. The cub began to relax as the hours went by, laying its tiny head against her arm. She named it Rin, a name she had read in an old logbook about the clan. It meant little, but it felt right. Rin's eyes glimmered faintly in the dark, and for the first time Lisa saw curiosity instead of fear. Morning came, weak and pale through the dust-filled sky. Lisa had no plan yet. She knew the clan would come looking. They always did when one of their young was missing. And they would not care about Rin's injuries. They would call it cursed, useless, and seek to destroy it. She could not let that happen. She would find a way to give Rin a chance. She had to. She had promised it with her actions, even if no words were spoken. She looked at Rin, tiny and fragile on the blanket. It had tried to move its bent leg once and groaned in pain. Lisa's mind raced. She could create a frame, a small suit to support its body, allow it to move without harm. She could reinforce its weak plates, give it strength. She could make it more than just a broken cub. She had no tools specifically designed for alien anatomy, but she could adapt what she had. The thought excited her. Lisa liked challenges. She liked building things that no one else could. And now she would build something to save a life. Not just a machine, a life. Days passed in a blur of activity. Lisa scavenged broken robots and mining equipment, stripping parts she could use for the small frame she planned. Rin watched her, tilting its head curiously, and sometimes reaching out with tiny hands to touch the tools. It was learning slowly, like a human child, how to interact with the world without hurting itself. Lisa talked to it constantly, giving names to the tools, explaining the noises she made when she cut or soldered. Rin listened, making small sounds in response. She had never imagined teaching an alien would feel like teaching a child. It was both simple and beautiful. One morning, as she worked on the frame, a shadow moved outside the window. Lisa froze. She grabbed Rin and crouched low. The shadow was brief, but she knew what it meant. The clan was nearby. She could hear voices, guttural and sharp, through the walls of her workshop. They were looking for the cub. She held Rin tightly. She could not let them find it. If they discovered Rin alive, they would tear it apart. She had seen videos and reports. She had heard stories. The weak were always punished. There was no mercy in their code. Lisa had no choice but to hide Rin, at least until the frame was ready. The next hours were tense. She finished the basic structure of the armor, a light, flexible frame that could support Rin's fragile body. She tested it carefully, helping Rin into it. The cub whimpered at first, then slowly moved its legs. The frame supported its weight, keeping the bent legs straight and protecting the cracked plates. Lisa felt a surge of relief. Rin was safe for now. She had given it strength it never had. She had given it a chance. But she knew the danger was not over. The clan would not stop searching. They would come with weapons, and Lisa had nothing to fight them off. All she could do was trust in her creation, trust in Rin, and hope that the clan saw something different this time. Hope was thin and fragile like Rin's body, but Lisa clutched the cub close and whispered, "We will survive. I will not let them take you." Rin looked up at her, eyes bright and trusting. For the first time, Lisa felt a deep bond. It was more than responsibility. It was love, quiet and steady like the hum of her machines in the dark. And so, on that harsh, lonely frontier world, a human and a broken cub began a journey that neither could have imagined. A journey of survival, of care, and of courage. Lisa did not know what awaited them. The clan was powerful and the world was cruel, but she had built hope, and sometimes hope was stronger than any weapon. Rin, once weak and abandoned, had found a protector, and Lisa, once alone, had found a purpose. Together, they would face the storm, the clan, and whatever dangers lay ahead. Together, they would fight to prove that even the broken could become strong, and even the smallest life could change the fate of many the morning after the storm. Lisa set Rin on a small workbench to examine the cub's weak body more closely. She had spent the night thinking and planning. The basic frame she had made was only the start. Rin needed armor that could grow with it, that could protect its fragile plates and bent leg, and that could allow it to move freely. Lisa had no blueprint. She only had her own understanding of machines, metal, and the alien records she had scavenged from the ruins of the old settlement. She began to sketch ideas on a scrap metal sheet, using a marker to draw lines and shapes. Rin watched with quiet curiosity, tilting its head and making soft sounds whenever she moved a piece of metal or tightened a small bolt. Lisa worked quickly but carefully. She bent thin metal strips to fit Rin's small body, connecting them with small joints that could flex with each movement. She made a lightweight harness to hold the bent leg straight, using soft padding to prevent rubbing or cuts. She scavenged some small motors from old mining drones and adapted them to help Rin lift its weak leg when needed. It was delicate work. Every movement had to be precise. One mistake could hurt Rin. She double-checked every connection, every screw, every joint. When she finished a section, she held Rin in her arms and tested it. The cub wobbled, then slowly stepped forward. Lisa's heart leapt. It had worked. Rin could move without pain. Days passed in a blur. Lisa built each piece of the armor layer by layer. She added tiny shields over the cracked skin plates, reinforced the joints, and connected flexible wires to small sensors that would warn her if Rin's body was under too much strain. She also added a soft protective helmet, with small openings for Rin's glowing eyes. The cub learned quickly. It moved awkwardly at first, tripping over its own claws and weak leg, but Lisa encouraged it. She clapped when Rin took a step without wobbling, laughed when it stumbled and tried again, and whispered softly when it grew tired. She could see the determination in Rin's eyes. The cub wanted to survive. It wanted to be strong, and Lisa wanted to help it. Outside the workshop, she could hear noises. At first, she ignored them, thinking they were just animals or the wind. But soon, she realized she was being watched. Two figures, tall and muscular, moved cautiously among the ruins. Lisa recognized the silhouettes from her data logs. They were members of the clan. She had never seen them up close. Their skin was armored naturally, tough and plated with claws long enough to pierce metal. They had sharp, angular faces and bright eyes that glowed in the dim light. Lisa froze, holding Rin close. The cub looked at her, sensing tension. She whispered, "Don't worry. They won't hurt us, not yet." The watchers moved slowly, observing. They had heard rumors of the cub that survived the storm. A human was said to be caring for it, breaking the clan's rules. Carl, one of the watchers, hissed quietly. "Why is it alive?" he asked. Nate, the other, shook his head. "Humans meddle too much. They do not understand the natural way. The cub should have died." But even as they spoke, they could see the cub standing on weak legs inside the workshop, supported by thin metal armor and padding. It moved awkwardly, but it moved. Lisa had no weapon, no army, only her machines and her determination. But she could see the doubt growing in their eyes. Inside, Lisa continued working as if nothing was happening. She connected small circuits to the armor to give Rin balance, and tested each motor carefully. Rin learned to lift its leg with the motor's help. Lisa cheered softly when it walked a few steps, then crawled over to her lap and nuzzled her shoulder. The bond between them grew stronger each day. Lisa realized she was no longer just helping a cub survive. She was teaching it trust, giving it confidence, and showing it a new way to exist. The clan had left it to die. She would teach it to live. The watchers outside began to whisper to each other. They had never seen a human care for a member of their kind this way. The cub's eyes, glowing softly in the dim light, followed their movements without fear. It did not cower, it did not cry. It simply watched. Carl frowned. "It is strange," he said. "The human is helping it, not harming it." Nate nodded. We have rules, weaklings are abandoned, cursed ones are left behind, but this is different, it moves, it survives. The human does not fear it. Both felt a strange sensation they could not name, respect perhaps, or fear, but it was unlike anything they had ever experienced. Over the next few days, Lisa trained Rin gently. She taught it to lift its bent leg using the motors, to balance its small body using the padding, and to understand how the armor could protect it. Rin began to play with small objects, testing its strength. It could now move freely in the workshop, run short distances, and even jump slightly without hurting itself. Lisa watched with pride, clapping softly when the cub succeeded. She whispered encouragement constantly, and Rin began to respond with small, happy sounds. It was learning quickly. Its mind, though young, was sharp. It understood patterns, it remembered shapes and movements, and it began to anticipate the next step in the exercises Lisa gave it. Outside, the watchers could see the changes too. The cub moved more confidently, stronger with each passing day. Carl and Nate whispered again. "It grows stronger," Carl said, astonished. "The human is teaching it, making it more than it was." Nate nodded slowly. "We should report this. The elder must know." This is unnatural. But as they debated, they realized they could not look away. They saw the cub approach Lisa when she called, stumble, then rise again with determination. It was no longer the weakling left behind in the ruins. It had strength, guidance, and trust in the human who had saved it. Something deep in both watchers stirred. Respect, awe, and a strange warmth they had not felt for outsiders. Lisa, working tirelessly inside, did not know she was being watched. She only knew she had a responsibility to Rin, and she took it seriously. The next challenge came when Lisa decided to test Rin outside the workshop. She had built a small protective cloak with lightweight armor plates for movement outside, a shield against the harsh environment. She guided Rin to the edge of the workshop. The wind blew red sand against their faces. The watchers stepped back, unsure if they should intervene. Rin moved awkwardly at first, stumbling in the sand. Lisa encouraged it, holding its hand, showing it how to balance. Slowly, Rin walked farther, then ran a short distance, then stopped and looked back at Lisa, eyes bright. Lisa smiled. She had never seen a human child achieve such progress so quickly. This was beyond anything she expected. Rin's determination matched her own. But danger was never far. The clan was near, and word of the cub's survival would reach Elder Mason soon. The watchers left quietly, returning to report what they had seen. Lisa sensed only a faint unease. She did not know the full threat yet, only that she had to prepare Rin for it. She began creating small weapons and defensive tools within the armor, not to harm, but to protect. She also strengthened the frame, making it flexible enough to grow with Rin's body while still offering support. She worked tirelessly, day and night, rarely sleeping. Rin stayed close, learning, playing, and trusting her completely. Lisa noticed small changes in Rin's behavior. The cub began mimicking her actions, reaching for tools, observing how she adjusted metal strips and wires. It learned patience, coordination, and problem-solving. Lisa felt a strange joy in teaching it, realizing she was not just saving a life, but helping shape one. Rin's mind was sharp and curious, and Lisa encouraged it with soft words and gentle touches. Outside, the watchers could not believe the speed of the cub's development. They had never seen anything like it in their history. The human had taken a creature left to die and built it into something more, stronger, smarter, alive. Soon, the watchers reported back to the clan elder. Mason listened quietly, his eyes narrowing as he heard the story. Weak, broken, abandoned, now alive, moving, learning, protected by a human, he could not understand it. The rules of the clan were clear. Weak members were left behind. Outsiders were dangerous. Yet here was proof that both rules were being broken. Mason's mind churned. Anger mixed with fear. He could not send soldiers immediately. The cub had strength now. It had guidance. Lisa's actions had changed the balance. She had shown that humans could protect, nurture, and improve even the weakest of their kind. Mason did not trust her. But he could not ignore what had happened. Back in the workshop, Lisa continued her work. She added small sensors to Rin's armor, showing if its movements caused strain or imbalance. She built tiny mechanical supports for the legs, the tail, and the spine. Rin learned to walk, run, and even jump short distances without falling. It began exploring corners of the workshop, investigating machines and tools, learning their names, and occasionally knocking things over. Lisa laughed at its curiosity. Teaching Rin patience became part of the routine. She encouraged small exercises, teaching balance, strength, and coordination. Rin responded eagerly, happy to learn, to play, and to trust her completely. One evening, as the red sun dipped behind the jagged horizon, Rin rested in Lisa's lap, exhausted but smiling. Lisa looked at the cub and whispered softly, "We are ready. Soon you will have to face the world outside this workshop. The clan will come. But you are not the weak cub they abandoned. You are strong. We made you strong." Rin nuzzled her arm, glowing faintly in the dim light. Lisa smiled, feeling pride and fear together. They were ready for the challenge, but she knew the clan would not accept this change easily. She had built armor, strength, and confidence in Rin, but the battles ahead would test more than metal. They would test trust, courage, and loyalty. Lisa did not doubt they could survive. They had to. Together they had already defied the storm, the odds, and the rules of the world. And so, as night fell and the frontier winds howled across the red plains, Lisa and Rin prepared for the unknown. The cub, once abandoned and fragile, now had strength, armor, and hope. The human, once alone and unafraid of solitude, now had responsibility, purpose, and a companion. Together, they had taken the first step in a journey that would challenge the laws of an alien clan, defy expectations, and prove that care, love, and ingenuity could turn even the weakest life into something powerful, something unforgettable. The clan would come. The world would test them. But for now, in the quiet of the workshop, they rested, ready for what was to come. The morning was quiet, but Lisa felt tension in the air. She had been expecting the clan to come for Rin, but she hoped they would not arrive too soon. Rin, now stronger and more confident, ran small circuits around the workshop, testing its new armor. The cub moved with more grace than ever before. It could balance on one leg, climb over low obstacles, and even jump small gaps without stumbling. Lisa watched, proud and anxious. She knew the clan's arrival could happen at any moment. She had to be ready, not with weapons, but with determination and care. Outside, the red dust swirled. The first signs of the clan appeared as shadows moving between the ruins. Lisa held her breath, sensing their approach before she could see them clearly. They came in silence, warriors tall and armored, their eyes glowing in the dim light. Carl and Nate were at the front, scouting, while others spread behind them. Lisa stayed calm, hiding Rin behind a pile of crates, whispering softly, "Stay quiet, trust me." Rin's small hand clutched hers, but its eyes shone with understanding. It was ready in its own way. The leader of the clan, Elder Mason, stepped forward. He was older, his body marked by scars and years of battle. His eyes were sharp and unyielding, and they focused directly on the workshop. "Bring the cub," he commanded. His voice was low and harsh, carrying the authority of generations. The warriors behind him tensed, ready to obey. Lisa did not move. She knew arguing with them would not help. She only had one chance to show them that Rin was not cursed, not weak, and not useless. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. "The cub is alive," she said. "And it is strong. It does not need to be harmed. Please see it for yourself." Mason's eyes narrowed. He did not like the human speaking so boldly. No outsider had ever dared question him, but he was curious. He gestured, and Lisa moved slowly to where Rin waited. Rin stepped out from behind the crates. Its armor gleamed faintly in the morning light, flexible and well-fitted. It walked steadily toward the clan, lifting its bent leg without pain, moving with confidence that only a few days ago would have been impossible. Mason and the warriors froze. They had expected a weak, trembling cub, abandoned and useless. Instead, they saw a creature alive, strong and guided by the human who had saved it. Lisa watched Rin closely, proud of every step. The cub turned and looked at her, eyes glowing softly, and she felt a quiet bond that gave her courage. The warriors whispered among themselves. Carl stepped forward cautiously. "It is alive and it moves," he said. Nate nodded. "The human made it strong." "It is unusual." Mason's gaze did not waver. He studied Rin carefully, looking for signs of weakness, pain, or fear. He found none. Rin stood tall, eyes bright, armor shining, and body balanced. Mason could not deny it. The cub had survived, and it had survived because of the human. Anger boiled inside him, but so did a strange respect. He had never seen care turn weakness into strength so quickly. Lisa spoke again. "This cub is not cursed. It was abandoned because it was weak. I gave it a chance to live. It trusts me and it is learning to be strong. Please do not punish it." Mason's eyes softened slightly, but only for a moment. "Humans do not understand our ways," he said. "Weak ones are left behind. Outsiders interfere. Yet it survives, it moves. It stands." He paused, considering. "Why?" Lisa looked at him, steady and calm. "Because it deserved a chance. Because weakness is not a crime. Because every life can grow stronger if someone cares enough to help." Mason's face showed a flicker of doubt. He had never heard words like this from any human. It challenged the rules he had followed all his life. Rin took a step forward, tilting its head toward Mason. It did not fear him. It did not tremble. Instead, it made a soft sound, a low hum that resonated through the workshop. Mason felt a strange feeling rise inside him. The cub, weak and broken before, had found strength. And it had chosen not to flee, not to fight aggressively, but to stand, guided by the human who had saved it. The warriors behind him whispered again, amazed. They had expected destruction, but they saw life, courage, and a bond that no one had anticipated. Mason spoke again. "You claim it is strong, prove it." Lisa nodded. She helped Rin walk in a small circle, demonstrating balance, speed, and coordination. The cub climbed over low obstacles, jumped gaps, and even pushed a small crate without difficulty. The warriors gasped quietly. Mason's eyes narrowed, studying every movement. Rin's body, once fragile and broken, now moved with confidence. It was not fully grown, not fully armored like others of its kind, but it was alive, capable, and guided by a human mind. Mason felt a tension he could not name. He had followed rules all his life, yet here was proof that rules could be challenged and still succeed. Then came a test Lisa had not expected. A sudden noise from outside, a distant rumble, the sound of heavy vehicles moving over the red plains, made Rin turn its head. The cub reacted instantly, raising its small armored body in a defensive stance. Lisa felt pride and fear at the same time. Rin had instinctively understood the threat and it could now react. She whispered, "Good, Rin, stay calm." Rin's eyes glowed brighter, but it remained steady. Mason observed, astonished. This was not just survival. It was awareness, adaptation, intelligence. Lisa had taught the cub more than walking and balance. She had taught it trust, courage, and readiness. The rumble grew louder. The warriors tensed. "Raiders," Carl whispered. "They come for the clan." Mason's face hardened. He had expected to punish the human for interfering, but now the priorities changed. The weak cub, the outsider human, and the clan itself faced a real threat. Mason's mind raced. Lisa could help, or she could be a liability. Yet he could not ignore what he had seen. Rin's strength and loyalty to Lisa suggested that the human might be valuable, not just dangerous. Mason made a decision. He nodded. "We will see. If the cub and the human can survive this, then perhaps they deserve a place with us. If not, his voice trailed, but the meaning was clear. The consequences would be severe. Lisa read his decision in his eyes, though she did not know the full meaning. She tightened her grip on Rin, whispering softly, "We can do this." Together, Rin responded with a soft hum, stepping forward confidently. The warriors took positions outside the workshop, preparing to defend the settlement. Mason watched carefully. The cub, once abandoned and weak, now stood with the human at the center of the room. Together they were ready. The bond between them was clear, stronger than fear, stronger than doubt. The clan had never seen anything like it. Hours passed as the raiders approached. Lisa worked quickly to set up small defenses, using parts of her workshop and old mining equipment. Rin followed her instructions, moving small objects and testing the armor's stability. The cub was learning quickly, reacting to commands, and showing an intelligence and trust that impressed even the seasoned warriors of the clan. Mason observed silently. He had expected chaos, weakness, and failure. Instead, he saw coordination, strength, and courage. It challenged everything he had believed. When the raiders finally arrived, the tension broke into action. The raiders were armed and aggressive, expecting an easy target. The clan, guided by Mason, prepared to defend their territory. Lisa positioned Rin strategically. The cub moved between obstacles, using its armor to block attacks, shield the human, and even push raiders back. Lisa stayed close, guiding and encouraging Rin while watching the clan warriors fight. It was chaos, but Rin's confidence never wavered. The cub, once weak and abandoned, had become a symbol of defiance and hope. After the battle, silence fell over the settlement. The raiders had retreated, defeated, or frightened by the unexpected resistance. Mason walked through the workshop, observing the human and the cub. Lisa and Rin stood together, exhausted but unharmed. Mason's voice was low but firm. The cub is no longer weak. The human is no longer an outsider to be punished. They have proven themselves today. He paused, looking at the warriors who had watched in awe. Perhaps there is more to strength than our rules allow. Perhaps care, guidance, and courage can change what we thought was broken. Lisa looked at Mason, feeling a mix of relief and pride. Rin stepped forward, small armored body shining, eyes glowing softly. The cub had survived, learned, and protected others. Mason nodded slowly, his mind processing what he had witnessed. The rules of the clan were strong, but sometimes even strong rules could be questioned. He had seen proof that life, even fragile life, could be nurtured and transformed. The human had done the impossible. The cub had become strong. And together, they had changed the clan's perception. Forever the sun rose over the red plains, casting long shadows across the ruins of the abandoned settlement. Lisa Carter moved quickly in her workshop, checking the small devices and armor she had made for Rin. The cub was awake, stretching its small legs and flexing the joints of its armor. Yesterday had been a test, but today would be different. The raiders would not retreat quietly. They would return in force, and Lisa knew she had to be ready. Rin looked at her, eyes glowing faintly, and she felt a surge of determination. Together, they could face whatever came. Outside, the clan warriors gathered quietly. Mason the Elder stood at the center, observing the group. They had seen the cub survive the first skirmish, but this was the real test. The raiders were stronger, larger, and more numerous. Many of the warriors whispered about Lisa and Rin, unsure whether to trust an outsider, but they had seen the proof. The cub's strength and the human's care had changed their perception. Some even felt a quiet respect. Mason looked at them and said, "We will defend our home, our people, and this cub. Follow the human's lead if she speaks, or protect her if she calls." The warriors nodded, though unease lingered. Humans were outsiders. They could not fully be trusted, but Lisa had earned a chance. Lisa had spent the morning reinforcing the settlement. She used scrap metal and old mining equipment to build barriers, small traps, and protective walls. She had also upgraded Rin's armor. Thin panels covered more of its body, flexible joints allowed faster movement, and small motors helped the cub lift and stabilize its bent leg. She watched Rin move through a test run, climbing low walls, dodging debris, and jumping small gaps. The cub's confidence had grown. It was ready. Lisa smiled, feeling both pride and fear. The danger was real, but Rin was no longer helpless. The ground shook suddenly, and distant sounds of engines and heavy footsteps grew louder. The raiders were coming. Lisa grabbed a small control panel and activated warning lights and signals she had improvised. The clan warriors took positions behind barricades, their natural armor gleaming in the dim light. Mason's eyes scanned the horizon. He had underestimated the raiders' numbers before. This time there were at least twice as many, armed with heavy weapons designed to tear through metal and skin alike. Lisa whispered to Rin, "Stay close. Remember what we practiced." Rin nodded in its way, small armored body crouched and ready. The first wave of raiders charged. They did not expect resistance from the human and the cub. Lisa shouted to the clan, guiding their movements. She pointed out weak points in the terrain, places to hide and defend. Rin moved with surprising speed, using its small size and armor to push away raiders, block attacks, and help the injured. It leaped over low obstacles, landing precisely, and used small panels on its armor to deflect blows. Lisa directed the cub calmly, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. The warriors were stunned. The cub, once abandoned and weak, now fought beside them with intelligence and bravery. One raider swung a heavy club toward Lisa. Rin reacted instantly, jumping between them, its small armored body absorbing the impact. Lisa froze for a moment, fear gripping her chest, but Rin did not falter. It pushed the raider back, giving Lisa time to move behind cover. She guided Rin toward another raider attempting to flank the clan. The cub moved quickly, striking and pushing, using its armor like a shield and small mechanical supports like tools. The raider stumbled and fell, surprised by the small creature's strength. Lisa watched, amazed and proud. Rin had become more than a cub. It was a fighter, a protector, and a symbol of hope. The raiders regrouped, realizing the human and the cub were a threat. They attacked harder, using heavier weapons. Sparks flew as metal clashed against armor. Lisa ducked behind a barricade, directing Rin and the warriors. She threw small makeshift devices to slow the raiders, creating obstacles and distractions. Rin responded perfectly, dodging falling debris, pushing attackers into traps, and protecting injured warriors. The clan began to see the value of the human strategy and the cub's bravery. They whispered among themselves, astonished. The outsider had saved the cub, and now the cub was saving them. Hours passed, and the battle raged on. The red dust swirled, covering the settlement in a thin, harsh layer that stung the skin and eyes. Lisa moved constantly, directing Rin, helping fallen warriors and adjusting armor panels on the cub. Rin never stopped, small limbs moving with precision, reacting to every threat. The raiders were relentless, but they underestimated the bond between human and cub. Each time they struck, Rin and Lisa adapted. Each time a warrior fell, they helped, keeping morale high. Mason observed, quietly amazed. The human and cub had changed the battlefield. The rules he had lived by, the ideas of strength and weakness, were being rewritten before his eyes. At one point, a raider managed to get past the barricades and charged toward Lisa. Rin reacted without hesitation, leaping in front of her. The small armored body collided with the raider, deflecting the strike and using mechanical joints to push the attacker back. Lisa ran to Rin's side, guiding the cub and using makeshift barriers to block other attackers. The clan warriors, inspired by the bravery of the human and cub, fought harder, coordinating with Lisa's instructions. Together, they pushed back the raiders. The tide of battle slowly turned. As the day went on, the raiders began to retreat. The human and cub had proven themselves, not only surviving but protecting the clan. Mason walked among the fighters, observing the damage and the courage displayed. He approached Lisa, whose hands were covered in cuts and grime, and Rin, whose armor was scratched but intact. "You have done what none of us expected," he said. "The cub is no longer weak. It is strong because of you, and you have shown courage beyond an outsider's duty." Lisa nodded, exhausted but satisfied. She had feared failure, but Rin's growth and bravery had carried them through. The clan gathered afterward, tending to the wounded and reinforcing their defenses. Mason called a meeting with the warriors. "Today we have witnessed something unusual," he said. "A human has cared for a cub that we would have abandoned." The cub, once weak, now fought with intelligence, courage, and loyalty. "We have seen the value of care, guidance, and trust." The warriors murmured among themselves, some still uneasy, some filled with newfound respect. Mason continued, "The human and the cub have proven themselves worthy. They are not outsiders to be punished. They are protectors. We owe them our lives." Lisa watched Rin, small body resting after the battle, eyes glowing faintly but steadily. She felt pride and love. The cub had learned so quickly, adapting to armor, strategy, and combat instinctively. It had grown beyond what she could have imagined. The clan now saw what she had known from the beginning. Even the weak could become strong if someone cared enough to help them. Mason approached Lisa and placed a hand on her shoulder, a gesture of acceptance. "You will stay with us," he said. "As long as you are here, the cub is protected, and so are you." Lisa felt relief wash over her. She had fought for Rin, and now the clan recognized her courage and care. That night, the settlement was quiet again. Lisa and Rin sat together on a pile of blankets, exhausted but safe. The clan warriors patrolled nearby, keeping watch, but they no longer looked at Lisa as a threat. Rin nuzzled her arm, small body shaking slightly from exhaustion but happy. Lisa whispered, "We did it, Rin. We protected them. And they will protect us now." Rin responded with a soft hum, eyes glowing, and Lisa smiled. The cub had grown from abandoned weakness to strength, guided by care and determination. Together, they had not only survived but inspired loyalty in a clan that had once rejected weakness. Lisa knew the journey was not over. There would be more challenges, more battles, and more tests of trust. But for now, they had won the day. Rin had proven its strength, Lisa had proven her courage, and the clan had learned a new lesson, that even the broken could become heroes if someone chose to care for them. The bond between human and cub had become stronger than any rule, stronger than fear, and stronger than the red dust storms of the frontier world. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with, and the clan now understood that care and courage could change even the harshest laws of their world. As the stars rose over the red plains, Lisa held Rin close, feeling the warmth of life, trust, and hope. The cub had grown, the clan had learned, and the human had found purpose. Together, they would face whatever came next, not as weak and fragile beings, but as a team bound by care, courage, and loyalty. The frontier world was harsh and unforgiving, but for Lisa and Rin, it had become a place of strength, friendship, and the beginning of something extraordinary. The morning after the battle was quiet. The red sun rose slowly over the horizon, casting long shadows across the settlement. Lisa Carter moved through the ruins, checking on the injured warriors, both human and alien alike. Rin followed closely, small armored body steady, eyes glowing faintly. The cub had grown stronger with every day, every challenge, every step, and today it seemed to understand the weight of what had happened. The raiders had been driven off, the clan was safe, and a new respect had formed between Lisa, Rin, and the warriors. The frontier world still held dangers, but for the first time, Lisa felt a sense of belonging. Mason, the elder, called a meeting in the center of the settlement. The warriors gathered around, some still tired, others cleaning weapons or tending to the wounded. Lisa and Rin stood at the edge, unsure what to expect. Mason's eyes scanned the group before settling on the human and the cub. His face, usually stern and unyielding, softened just slightly. He cleared his throat. Today, we have seen proof that the ways we have followed for generations are not absolute. We have seen that even the weak, the broken, and the abandoned can become strong if someone chooses to care for them. We have seen courage, intelligence, and loyalty in forms we did not expect. The warriors murmured among themselves. Some nodded, others exchanged looks of surprise. Lisa looked at Rin, who stood quietly, small but confident. The cub's armor was scratched, worn, but intact. Every mark told a story of survival, courage, and determination. Lisa felt a swell of pride, but also a quiet sadness. So many lives had been at risk, yet they had survived. Together, they had changed the rules of the clan without intending to. Mason continued. This human Lisa has saved the cub and protected us all. She has shown that care, not just strength, is a power we cannot ignore. She will stay among us, and the cub, Rin, will be protected as a member of the clan. We owe them both our loyalty. Carl, one of the warriors who had watched Lisa and Rin closely, stepped forward. Elder Mason is right. I have seen what this human has done. I have seen the cub grow stronger than any of us imagined. They are not outsiders. They are part of our clan now. And I swear, as a warrior of this clan, I will defend them with my life. Others followed. Nate, another watcher, raised his hand. As do I, we will stand with them. We will protect them. We will not abandon them as we once abandoned our weak. One by one, the warriors voiced the same vow. Lisa and Rin listened, eyes wide with disbelief and gratitude. They had not asked for loyalty, but the clan offered it freely, inspired by what they had accomplished together. Lisa knelt beside Rin, holding its small, armored body close. She whispered softly, "We did it, Rin. They understand now. They see what I see in you." Rin nuzzled her arm, small body trembling slightly, eyes glowing. Lisa felt a deep bond of trust and love. The cub, once abandoned and fragile, had become strong and respected, and Lisa had found a place where she belonged. She realized that she had not only built armor for Rin, but she had built hope, courage, and a future. Over the next days, Lisa worked with the clan to improve Rin's armor and abilities. She added stronger joints, more flexible panels, and lightweight shields that could protect against the harsh environment. She trained Rin to move with precision, teaching it strategies to defend the settlement and protect the warriors. The cub learned quickly, mastering movements, balancing its weak leg, and responding to threats instinctively. The clan watched with admiration. They had never seen such rapid growth in any of their young, and they began to speak of Rin with a new reverence. The settlement itself began to thrive. Lisa repaired machines and structures, teaching the warriors how to use tools more efficiently. Rin became a symbol of courage and transformation, often seen leading small exercises with younger members of the clan, demonstrating balance, strength, and confidence. The warriors told stories of the cub's bravery during the raid, how it had protected Lisa, pushed back attackers, and inspired even the strongest fighters. Mason listened to these stories quietly, proud of what had been achieved. The bond between human, cub, and clan had grown stronger than any rule, stronger than fear, stronger than the dangers of the world. One evening, as the red sky darkened, Mason approached Lisa. He placed a hand on her shoulder. "Lisa, the clan owes you more than words can express. You have given life to the cub, and in doing so, you have given us all a lesson. You will stay among us, and we swear, as a clan, that as long as you live, no harm will come to you or Rin. Your courage has become part of our law." Lisa felt tears sting her eyes. She had never sought recognition or power. She had only wanted to save Rin. But now, she understood that her actions had changed not just one life, but the future of an entire clan. Rin stood beside Lisa, small armored body glowing faintly in the dusk. It looked at the elder and the warriors, then back at Lisa and made a soft hum. Lisa smiled. "They understand, Rin. They know you are not weak. They know what I have always known. You are strong and you belong." Rin reached up and touched her face, a small gesture of trust and affection. Lisa held the cub close, feeling the weight of the battles, the struggles, and the victories they had shared. They had come far, and their journey was only beginning. The clan celebrated that night. Fires burned in the center of the settlement, and warriors shared stories of courage, strength, and loyalty. Lisa and Rin were at the center, honored for their bravery and care. The cub demonstrated movements and techniques it had learned, impressing the clan with its speed and intelligence. The human worked quietly beside Rin, repairing minor armor damage and adjusting equipment. Together they showed what could be achieved when care, courage, and determination were combined. The warriors watched, inspired and awed. Over time, Lisa built stronger structures for the settlement, improved the armor of all the young cubs, and trained them in basic defensive skills. Rin became a mentor, small but respected, guiding the next generation with patience and confidence. The clan had changed. They no longer abandoned the weak, no longer feared outsiders who cared. Lisa had taught them a new lesson, that even the smallest life could grow strong with guidance and trust. The story of the human and the cub spread across the planet, inspiring others who had once thought weakness was a curse. Years passed and Lisa and Rin grew together. The cub matured, strong and agile, a symbol of courage for the clan. Warriors still came to Lisa for advice on tools, armor, and strategy. The settlement thrived, a mix of human ingenuity and alien strength. Mason watched proudly, knowing that the bond between the human and the cub had changed the destiny of the clan. The loyalty they had earned was not given lightly. It had been earned through courage, care, and the willingness to face impossible odds. One day, Mason called Lisa and Rin to the center of the settlement. The clan had gathered. He spoke clearly and firmly. "We swear today, in the presence of all warriors and young cubs, that Lisa and Rin are part of our clan. They are protected, respected, and honored. Any harm that comes to them will be answered by the strength of all of us. They have shown that courage and care are stronger than rules and fear. From this day forward, they are our shield and our hope." The warriors raised their hands in oath, voices strong and clear. Lisa felt pride and gratitude. Rin looked up at her small body glowing in the sun, and she knew they had succeeded. Together, they had built more than armor. They had built loyalty, respect, and trust that would last generations. As the sun set over the red plains, Lisa sat beside Rin on a low wall, watching the settlement and the clan go about their lives. The cub rested its head on her lap, small body armored but relaxed, glowing softly in the fading light. Lisa whispered, "We did it, Rin. You are strong, we are safe, and we belong." Rin made a small hum, nuzzling her hand. The human smiled, feeling warmth and peace she had never known before. They had faced storms, raiders, and fear. They had turned weakness into strength, abandonment into loyalty, and survival into hope. The frontier world was still harsh, but they had made it a home. In the years that followed, the story of Lisa and Rin became legend. Clan members spoke of the human who built armor for a broken cub, of the cub who became strong, smart, and brave, and of the day the clan learned that care and courage were more powerful than fear and tradition. Travelers from other settlements came to see them, warriors trained under Lisa's guidance, and young cubs learned to move with confidence and intelligence. The bond between human and alien had changed an entire clan, proving that even the smallest act of care could reshape the future. Lisa, once alone, had found family, purpose, and respect. Rin, once abandoned, had become a symbol of courage and hope. Together they had turned weakness into strength, fear into loyalty, and life into legend. And so, on the harsh red world, Among the ruins and the rebuilt settlement, Lisa and Rin lived, protected by the clan they had saved, respected for their courage, and remembered for their extraordinary bond. The cub had grown strong, the human had found purpose, and the clan had learned that strength came not only from muscle or rule, but from care, courage, and trust. Their story spread across the frontier, a reminder that even the smallest, weakest life could inspire loyalty, bravery, and hope. Together, they had built more than armor, they had built a legacy.